The meeting has been given for the time and manner required by law. We're going to begin our meeting tonight with the pledges of allegiance, followed by a silent invocation. Mrs. Porter, could you introduce those leading us in the pledge?
Yes, Mrs. Grail. Tonight we're very proud to have some outstanding students from Lexington Creek Elementary who will lead us in the pledges.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
If you could remain standing for a silent invocation, please. Thank you. You may be seated. Our next item of business is a recognition, so I'll turn the meeting over to Dr. Dupree.
Thank you, Madam President. If the board would join me in front of the dais, we'll recognize some of our outstanding students and staff this evening.
We would like to recognize our outstanding Lexington Creek students. First, Ethan Wasserman. Ethan, would you come forward? Ethan has an excellent attitude toward learning and understanding the world around him. He has a true desire for the highest academic achievement. Autumn Rose. Autumn always has a positive attitude, works diligently, and is always focused on the task at hand. She is well-behaved and respected by her teachers and peers. Joshua Lee. Joshua has shown incredible perseverance this year through his diligent effort at working to improve his academics. He is also well respected by his classmates and his teachers for his responsibility and integrity. Amber Ford is an amazing leader in the classroom due to her exemplary character and dependability. She is always willing to lend her assistance to her peers and her teachers. Please help us recognize and congratulate these outstanding students. And the front two rows here, would you stand if you're here with these students tonight? Thank you. Tonight for our other recognition, we are proud to recognize two Clements High School teachers who are the recipients of the 2014 Yale University Educator Award. Yale recognizes outstanding educators from around the world who support and inspire their students to perform at high levels and to achieve excellence. Of this year's 306 nominees, 53 teachers and 30 counselors were selected to receive the award. Clements class of 2014, James Dial, nominated lead counselor Mrs. Felicia Doyle and English teacher Mrs. Spradley for this award. Tonight we have Felicia Doyle with us. Jeanette Spradley was unable to attend the board meeting. So Felicia, would you please come forward? And Felicia's husband and her mom and dad are here tonight to celebrate. Dr. Dupree, that concludes our recognitions.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the audience items. So I'll introduce Officer Ontiveros to give us our...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention? Before we begin the meeting, we ask that everybody silence your cell phones. Fort Bend ISD Board of Trustee meeting is an open meeting for the public to address the board during district business. Therefore, audience may address the board during the designated audience items section on the agenda. If you have any printed materials you want to give to the board members, you must provide them to the board secretary, Jane Kaiser, or to me, and we will provide them to the board. We also ask the members of the audience to be respectful of others and remain quiet during the meeting so that everyone is able to hear the proceedings. For your convenience, microphones have been provided on both sides of the board room. Please speak directly into the microphone if you have any questions to be answered or questions to address the board. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Officer Ontiveros. And I want to thank all the audience members who submitted to speak and organize themselves. So we have 3 per topic tonight. And so we'll start with the Old Orchard group. And the first speaker is Meta Taker. And you have 3 minutes. Mrs. Bailey will time you. When there are 30 seconds left, she'll let you know. And so you can wrap up your remarks.
Madam President, distinguished board members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm voicing my opinion in regards to rezoning related to community of Old Orchard. Proximity safety is our only concern, our main concern. Old Orchard is 1 mile away from Austin High. The only way in and out of our community is 1464. We're a closed community which is not building anymore. The land behind our property is owned by the Texas Correctional Facility. There is no back entrance or exit to 99. However, Travis High School is 5 miles away. That means my children, when they get on the bus for Travis, they have to pass Austin High School and then go to Travis. That is a long distance for them to go to that school. According to Fort Bend ISD active students counts with projections report, Austin is at 88% total utilization, and Travis is at 87%. For 1%, we are getting moved. For 1%, Old Orchard is getting rezoned today. Feeder patterns, rezoning, future trends are very important, but children are very, very, very important. The redistricting and rezoning would make every child in Fort Bend ISD at a disadvantage because of the travel. I mean, going far away just for your school is really does not make sense to me. Referring to the Fort Bend ISD district goal number 3, Fort Bend ISD will provide a supportive climate and a safe learning environment. Where is the safe and supportive time that the kids spend going to school just to get to school and learn? It does not make sense to me. I mean, how many of us are looking for work because we don't want to do the long commute? How many of us are tired after our commute? How many of us are unproductive at home because of our commute? And yet we're going to subject our students who are future leaders of Fort Bend County to the same process of long drive and commute. I would humbly suggest that please go ahead and reconsider, go back to the drawing board and come up with a solution that would make sense. We do not want to have the children of Fort Bend ISD to be at a disadvantage. Please empower them with the correct tools to reach their full potentials and not hold them back in the shackles of their long drives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Our next speaker is Frank Kalkenthal. Did I say it right?
Hi, ma'am. My name is Frank Kalkatawi.
Oh, okay.
Madam President.
I was close. I didn't quite get all the syllables in there, but
Not a problem. Madam President, distinguished board members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to also as well speak today. I'm also echoing the voice of my colleague here. I'm voicing our opinion in regards to the rezoning, particularly related to our community of Old Orchard. I used to be the former HOA president for our community, and I've had multiple residents come speak to me regarding this issue, and I wanted to focus on two really key things, which is proximity and safety. As you know, Travis High School is 5 miles away versus Austin. If we stand in front of our subdivision and look to the left, you can see practically Austin High School. It's only a mile away. Also, Old Orchard only has one entrance and one exit area, which is off of 1464. We don't have access to Highway 99, similar to what Aliana has. Also, in order to go to Travis High School, our Old Orchard kids has to get on 1464, pass Austin High School, which will cause an additional significant traffic jam. As it is, I drive daily on 1464 to go north, and I pass the school, and traffic is horrible there. So it's going to get even worse if our kids would have to go to Travis. Also, our kids will have to drive more bus driving, and will have to pass Austin High School going and coming back. We're a completed and enclosed community of 617 homes, and I would hope that the board will consider keeping us zoned to Austin High School. Thank you. Excellent, thank you.
All right. Our next speaker is Trupti Mehta.
Hello. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm here as a Old Orchard community also, and I'm the concerned parent also. I have two kids who, one is going to the senior year, and one is going to be in the 9th grade. Both are going to high school, and they both are going to travel to different high schools, which I don't know how I'm going to manage it. And there are a lot of parents like that. And also, I'm also wondering about the safety issue because, you know, when they go high school kids, they start driving also. They have to pass the traffic of Austin High School and go to Travis High School, which is, I don't think it is right at this point because they are the learners. And the safety issue is a big issue for me. So I'm really concerned about that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being here tonight. Our next group of speakers is from Telfair, and they have some handouts. Our first speaker is Mahesh Iyer.
Good evening. My name is Mahesh Iyer, and I'm a resident of Telfair. Would just like to thank the board and Dr. Dupree and staff for giving us an opportunity to speak this evening. As you go to the first page of our presentation, we believe that Telfair getting zoned to Clemens is the best fit for Telfair and the district. The original idea behind scenario A was to plan for a longer-term solution for the district. Telfair is fully built out and its student population is now predictable. By zoning Telfair to Clemens, the district solidified capacity in the central area of the district, especially with Telfair located only 3 miles from Clemens, less than half the distance to any other high school that we could be zoned to. This greatly assisted the district in addressing two significant challenges. The first, providing school capacity to deal with the magnitude of homes being built in the western part of the district. With Telfair zoned out of the western side, much needed high school capacity could be freed up to accommodate that growth. And second, realigning school capacity in the eastern side of the district to address growth in that corridor. The design of scenario A focused on aligning predictable school enrollment with existing capacity and opened up school capacity further west and east to address those growing areas. However, in scenario B, Telfair is zoned to the western side of the district. The two challenges the district we're trying to address now get significantly more complicated. The much needed capacity on the western side is now filled up. With the central area, the district gets an unpredictable school enrollment in Clemens now. High school capacity will not be utilized in a manner that addresses capacity issues related to the growth quarters in the west and the east. Keeping Telfair in the central area of the district can benefit the whole district. If you look at our second slide, you can see that we've given an example of 2 jars, and I think that illustrates it hopefully well. The district will be much better off in its planning efforts by addressing Telfair zoning efforts up front and then aligning some of the other areas of the district. With 2,500 plus homes and being fully built out, the district can easily more look at the predictability of Telfair student enrollment long-term in aligning our zoning in the central area of the district with Clemens. If you can plan out Telfair first, a lot of other areas of the district from a capacity standpoint can be sorted out a little bit easier. On our third slide, something that I think is important to all of us.
30 seconds.
Like other communities, Telfair is a strong and vibrant master plan community. We moved here to be a part of a neighborhood. Apartments, on the other hand, are designed for transient populations. Don't lump us in with the apartments as you're trying to determine zoning. As the PASA report itself notes on page 11, in some cases it may be necessary to create small planning units out of apartment complexes and use these apartments to better utilize existing schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, very much. Our next speaker is Jin Wang.
Yep. My name is Jin Wang. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here. And so next, if you go to slide 4, I will show you why Telfair overcrowding Clemens High School is impossible in Plan A. Here are the enrollment data of Clemens High School from 2010 to 2014. There are 3 messages we can get from the data. First, the total enrollment declines consistently year by year, indicating that the current Clemens High School feeding areas are aging out. Secondly, at one point, Clemens High School handled 2876 students. Thirdly, it's also important to note that the enrollment of each class consistently declined as they move up through their higher classes, as highlighted in red. And the same trend can be seen for other classes as well. So if you go to the slide 5, here are the current actual enrollment data of the 5 elementary schools feeding Clemens High School in Plan A from Texas Education Agency. Please note that the data of the Commonwealth Elementary School includes the student from the area of future ES 47, which is zoned to Elkins High School. Okay, so then let's take all these numbers and let's go to the next slide. On slide 4, I'll tell you our projection here. Even if we assume 100% of students in these elementary schools will go through Clemens High School, the total enrollment of Clemens is projected to be no more than 2,400 in year 2020 and decline in the next 2 years. This is significantly less than the current permanent capacity of Clemens 2621 or the optional capacity 2543 based on the facility master plan. In addition, please remember in our previous slides, firstly, based on the historical data on page 4, the enrollment of each class declines as they move up through Clemens High School. And secondly, on page 5, the cohort total 2,400 includes students from ES 47, which will be zoned to Elkins High School. If taking both factors into consideration, the actual enrollment will be less than the data presented. Let's come to the next slide, slide 7. Please also note that there are significant numbers of Telfair students attending academy programs. Then let's take a look at academy enrollment data.
30 seconds.
Just in Telfair, there are more than 200 students currently in academy. We believe there will also be many students from the other 4 elementary schools attending academy programs, which will further reduce the enrollment in Clemens High School greatly. Additionally, we did not include students in private schools. Therefore, Telfair overcrowding Clemens High School is realistically impossible in Plan A. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much. Our next speaker is Wenjun Xu.
Dr. Dupree and the board, please look at page 8. This map shows the current projection without rezoning. Travis High School will be at its overcapacity in 2018. Austin High School has about 100 seats left. How could Telfair be squeezed into Austin High School? Next page, page 9, shows the explosive development since the Grand Parkway is close to its completion. Indiana has 4,450 houses in total. Harvest Green has 2,700 houses. Fieldstone, 1,600. Grand Vista, 1,400. And there are 1,300 houses to be built in Grand Mission Estate. Per PASA report, page 48. It clearly shows that any annual enrollment is underestimated. The reasons are the new homeowners want to keep their children in old school until the school year ends. The second reason is the many addresses are too new to be geo-coded. Please notice, Bush High School starts with 100% capacity under both plans. Now, next page, page 10 shows you which way is better. From Telfair to Clemens, 3 miles. To Austin High School, 6 miles. But going to Austin High School, we have to drive on the Grand Parkway, cross the Highway 90 and the railroad. If there is a safety concern regarding Highway 59, what about Dallas High School students? What about all the highways we are crossing right now? Last page. So, if Telfair is zoned to Austin High School, it ignores the fast development, causes the overcrowding in the West, and creates the transportation issues. If Telfair is zoned to Clemens High School, it not only balances the utilization and the future growth, but also provides the cost-effective transportation.
30 seconds.
Therefore, we implore Dr. Dupree and the board to adopt a long-term solution for our district based on data, the policy, and our community feedbacks too. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Okay. Next group of speakers is, it looks like, from Creekstone. The first one is Joe Tekanoth. And I guess these are handouts for us. So there you go.
Respected members of the Fort Bend ISD Board of Trustees and Dr. Dupree. My name is Joe Tekanoth. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to share with you my perspective on the challenges with the Elkins feeder pattern proposed under Scenario B. I represent the subdivisions of Creekstone Village and Brookside in Riverstone that are asking for an amendment to the proposal so that we remain zoned under Fort Settlement Middle School. By zoning us out of Fort Settlement Middle School, feeder pattern proposal will split our children away from their friends. The children will experience a deep sense of loss of neighborhood and community. Cohorts of students may not stay together as advance through the system, leading to disruptions in continuity. This will be in the direct conflict with the district's stated approach of maintaining the integrity of neighborhoods and ensuring continuity. The district must also realize that while it is important to plan for the future, it cannot be done by negatively impacting current residents of the community. The district's proposal seems to cater the requirements of people who have not yet moved into the community. The current residents and children of the Creekstone Village and Brookside are being asked to pay the price for this. This is neither fair nor just. The rationale for continuing to zone into the Settlers Way Elementary School is that there is no need for a change as we already zoned there. If that is correct, then please apply the rationale consistently. We are currently zoned into Fort Settlement Middle School. Why the district is asking us to change the middle schools? Another important issue related to transportation, the drive to Settlers Way and First Colony Middle School requires us to go through the narrow scenic reverse road. In addition, the drive to First Colony Middle School involves 9 stop signs, while drive to Fort Settlement involves 3 stop signs. Keeping a zone into Fort Settlement Middle School will reduce the commute time and save the districts in fuel costs. In closing, I urge you to amend the feeder pattern proposal and to continue the zone Creekstone Village and Brookside in Fort Settlement Middle School. Doing this by zoning us into ES47 will further address our concerns. My experience tells me that you always listen to the concern of the community and have taken action to alleviate our problems. I trust that you will continue to demonstrate the same level of commitment and do the right thing for our children and to the district. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much. Our next speaker is Judy Lang.
Dear Dr. Dupree and members of the Board of Trustees, my name is Judy Liang. I'm a resident of Riverstone Subdivision, Creekstone Village. Thank you very much for your willingness to listen to our community. Feeder pattern scenario B proposes to move Creekstone Village and Brookside out of Fort Settlement Middle School and put us under First Colony Middle School. We, as a community, strongly request the district to keep us under Fort Settlement Middle School. Currently, Scenario B's utilization forecast is based on PASA demographic study released in March this year. We compared PASA March forecast with 2014 actual enrollment and have found that PASA overestimates Creekstone, Brookside, and the Riverstone other subdivision student number by 18 to 30%. Please refer to page 5 of our handout. For example, PASA March report projects Creekstone and Brookside will have 283 elementary students for 2014. The actual 2014 enrollment is 240. This is 18% overestimated. Using the 240 current enrollment number to calculate the elementary student per house ratio, we will get a 268 elementary student count when Creekstone Village is fully built out and lived in by 2018. In comparison, PASA projects 350 elementary students for year 2018 and beyond, 30% overestimated. For Riverstone other subdivisions elementary students who go to Commonwealth Elementary, PASA's forecast is also about 20% overestimated over 2014 actual enrollment number. For Creekstone and Brookside Middle School student forecast, if we use a more accurate 268 elementary student number divided by the 6th grade from kindergarten to 5th grade, then multiply by 3 for the 3 grades in middle school, we will get 134. Yet, PASA forecasts 161 middle school students for year 2018 and beyond, 20% overestimated. To sum up, Creekstone and Brookside Middle School student
30
number
seconds.
should be no more than 134 kids, which is about 10% of Fort Settlement Middle School capacity and 11% of First Colony Middle School capacity before the 200 seats are added. We respectfully request the district to use this more accurate forecast in its decision-making process. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. All right, our next speaker is Chris Hayden. Oh, wait, did I skip you? Yeah, okay. You're right, I did, sorry. Ji Kwang, how do you say it? Say it again, please?
Jiqiang.
Okay, I'm going to go with that.
That's all right. Nobody can pronounce my name.
I totally get it. I have the name Grail. Nobody can pronounce that either.
Just nothing. So, President James, Dr. Dupree, board members. So my name, again, is Jiqiang, and I'm from Creekstone. So first of all, I would really like to thank you very much for your tremendous efforts planning out for our schools, for our future. And this is really tremendous work that you have done. As a father of a second grader, I fully agree with you that feeder pattern alignment is critical to ensure that our facilities are used efficiently and the district is poised to handle future growth without overcrowding our schools. In line with this goal, I would request you to keep Creekstone and Brookside under Fort Settlement, which our students are currently enrolled in. So one of the immediate benefits of this is that keeping Creekstone and Brookside under Fort Settlement will balance the utilization of First Colony and Fort Settlement, and also save us $2 million. So let me explain that. The projection of First Colony under scenario B is about 1,190 students between 2018 and 19, resulting in a projected utilization rate of 99%. To bring down the utilization rate, Fort Bend ISD has proposed to add 200 additional seats, which would cost us $2 million. The cost, and meanwhile, the Fort Settlement is projected to have only 1,000 to 1,140 students during the same period under scenario B. And this leads to a utilization rate of 72 to 81%. In other words, under scenario B, First Colony is going to be almost reaching a full capacity, while Fort Settlement is underutilized. Now, the number that Judy just presented, the middle school students from Creekstone Village and Brookside will be a total of about 134 students. This represents 10% of the total students in First Colony or Fort Settlement. And this, if we move our students from First Colony to Fort Settlement, this will bring down the utilization of First Colony from 99% to 88%, while increase the utilization of Fort Settlement from 80% to 90%. So this is a much more balanced utilization.
30 seconds.
And plus, this will save us $2 million. So finally, to quote the words of the Fort Bend ISD website, our desire is to minimize the impact of change to students and their families, while meeting our goals and satisfying our needs. The minimal change is no change. So please consider keeping Creekstone and Brookside under Fort Settlement. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Our next speaker tonight is Chris Hayden.
Madam President, distinguished board members. Okay.
That's good. Thank you, sir.
Okay. My name is Chris Hayden, and I live in the subdivision of Commonwealth. I would like to speak to you about scenarios A and B for your current rezoning initiative. My neighborhood is zoned to Clements High School in both scenarios, so I should be indifferent to which is selected. However, I'm not. I am seriously concerned that our high school will be overcrowded and enrollment very quickly frozen. I've walked door to door over the last few weeks and talked to many of my neighbors, and they all share the same concern. We're not a huge neighborhood, but unfortunately, this is a situation that's very familiar to us. I spoke with parents whose children can't go to the school that they're zoned to, albeit right across the street from their front steps, because, well, our elementary school became frozen. Happened just 8 months ago. So it's something that we're very, very, very familiar with. We don't want to see it happen again. Not to our high school, not to our middle school. Under scenario A, as Mr. Leopold of Dijon Richter confirmed at the board meeting of November the 17th, Clements utilization is projected to be over 100%. Therefore, I strongly support scenario B, under which Clements utilization is projected to be an efficient and healthy 97%. I have looked at a few of the numbers, and while CHS's enrollment decreased from 2009 to 2014, it was due to the rezoning of Lake Colony, Heritage Colony, and a segment of Riverstone to Elkins, which gives you slightly over 1,000 households that were rezoned. I wouldn't say it was because of a neighborhood that is mature. Our neighborhood routinely turns over because of the fact that these three schools are as in demand as they are. the schools don't make the neighborhood makes the schools. And everyone in my neighborhood comes to the same conclusion that if our parents bring the same type of enthusiasm and spirit and passion that they do before you in this rezoning effort, they'll make any school that their children attend as good as Clements. Clements didn't make the neighborhood. The neighborhood made Clements. The parents.
30 seconds.
And I will conclude. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir, very much. Our next speaker is Rebecca Chen.
Thank you, Dr. Debris, and thank you, the board, of having me here, having opportunity to talk to you. I got a child currently in Commonwealth Elementary School. And so regardless of which plan, my neighborhood is always known to Clements. So the reason I'm here is similar to the gentleman just mentioned about. We don't want the school to be overcrowded. I got 2 degrees in architecture and city planning, so I'm so much familiar with planning ahead. That's why I so much appreciate this fall. You actually took the initiative of we plan something for the future. It is very important, like we plan our future, like for 10 years, look ahead, 5 years, and just like we balance our financial portfolio. We look at it every year to say what kind of tweaks we need. The thing is that we all know for future projections, there are so many factors going to impact it. Oil price plunged to $58 today, and this is an oil town, we all know that. And then also, for example, and if my memory was correct, like Telfair, for example, in the very first beginning, they were planning for 6,500 houses, both sides of the 59. But eventually, both sides of the 59. And eventually, they settled with 2111. So the projection of future development is impacted by so many factors. And also, it could be the financial situation with the developer. It could be, oil price goes down, and etc. And also, it is the residents, current residents, other taxpayers funded the district and, elected our dearest board members to represent us. And so while we, planning the future, we also care about our current residents. And that is why I treasure so much about one of the board members mentioned about last time in a board meeting. Our students and parents are not numbers. They are human beings, and they are the person who form our community. And so there are a couple of points that I was about to point out about the data thing. And that gentleman just mentioned about people keep talking about the entire neighborhood in Clements declining, and that's based on 2009-2014 data shows a decline. But he just pointed out that it's because of more than 1,000 houses got zoned out from Clements to Elkins, and back in 2011. That's number one.
30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. And then number 2, people are talking about 47, elementary number 47 zoned to Clements. That was never the case in either of the scenarios. So those are the points. And if you look at the PASA data for 5 years look ahead, the houses currently zoned to Clements, we are talking about 0.26% of decline. And that's within marginal statistically, you can hardly call it a decline. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Our next speaker is J.J. Clements.
Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Dupree and President Grell James and Fulbright ISD board members. My name is J.J. Clements, and I'm here to represent Riverstone to show our support to Scenario B. We think Scenario B is the best plan because it is a plan and it takes into consideration of children of Fulbright ISD. And by ensuring children to go to elementary school, middle school, and high school with their neighborhood friends. We think Scenario B is the best plan because it's a better utilization of all the schools and provides room for Fulbright ISD future growth, beneficial to most communities in the neighborhood, and save millions of dollars and less travel distance to schools. And we think Senior B is the best plan because it maintains the neighborhood concept. It is consistent with the 4x9 STEAM master facility plan. We support Senior B, and we support ES 47 to zoned to Fort Settlement. We're also asking board members to consider to include Riverstone, Creekstone to be included to the Fort Settlement School to demonstrate the neighborhood concept. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Our last speaker tonight is Kathy Morrow.
Hello, board. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. My name is Kathy Morrow. I've lived in New Territory for 22 years. I no longer have children in the district, so I don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak. But I care deeply about my community, about its unity, its spirit, and its value. This is consistent with your guiding principles in your efforts to align the feeder patterns, to keep student cohorts together from elementary through high school, to preserve educational continuity, and to build community and school spirit. New Territory, in its master plan, is the epitome of a community. We are one of the very few communities that has a middle school, Sartarsha, in the very heart of it. We have an association-run club where our kids take part in community athletics and programs such as basketball, soccer, Little League, basketball, and more. We even have a preschool in our club that is run by our homeowners association. So our kids go to school together from preschool through, well, middle school. Then they are split to 2 high schools. And we aren't that big. We're only 4,600 homes. New Territory fought this division in 2004 and 2005 when the district decided to zone the west side of New Territory to open Travis High School with a sufficient number of students. We urged the board to maintain the feeder pattern and to keep our kids together at Austin. But things were different back then, and they didn't give community and their interests the same kind of consideration as they do now. So 10 years later, I'm asking you to fix the feeder pattern that was torn apart when Travis was opened. Just because we've lived with it for this long doesn't mean it doesn't deserve fixing. It's just taken this long for us to have an opportunity to reunite. Sartarsha is the only middle school split to 3 different high schools in your scenarios, the only one. It doesn't have to be that way. New Territory is not a huge community. I think you can make the numbers work if you just look at it again from New Territory's perspective.
30 seconds.
Before you approve a plan that includes sending brand new apartments to Austin High School, the Telfair Lofts, please consider correcting a feeder pattern for your taxpayers. Reunite the community of New Territory and follow your own guidelines and principles. Maintain the neighborhood concept. Please do something this time and listen to our community. Thank you for your time, for my time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you being here tonight. That concludes our audience items. The board is now ready to convene in closed session under the Texas Open Meetings Act for the purpose of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any or all subjects or matters authorized by law, including the consideration of purchase, exchange, lease of value of real property, and personnel matters. The board's now convened in closed session.